In the early 20th century, the region of western Massachusetts operated as a highly connected, bustling hub of electric transit. Trolley cars wove through dense cobblestone streets, physically and economically, linking Springfield to towns like Holyoke, Chicopee, Coleraine, Amherst, and Northampton. This retrospective cover from the Greenfield Recorder captures the deep cultural affection for these streetcars. They were clean, reliable, and entirely integrated into daily life. The electric trolley functioned as the regional nervous system, a utility the public assumed would last forever. Then, in 1939, a holding company out of Chicago called City Coach Lines abruptly purchased the Springfield Street Railway. This 1939 newspaper headline shows their immediate public relations splits. The new management promised riders that street railway personnel would not be changed, and they insisted any move towards gas-powered buses would be strictly gradual. To project a friendly neighborhood image, executives created a local trust named Springfield Associates, claiming it would keep financial control firmly within the New England community. But read further down the very same page. The new buyers take a bizarrely defensive stance, explicitly denying rumors that they had any ties to a massive national conglomerate called National City Lines. If this was a truly local investment intended to preserve the city's transit, the buyers were spending an unusual amount of energy distancing themselves from out-of-town corporate giants. Historical records link City Coach Lines and Springfield Associates to the very conglomerate they denied knowing, National City Lines. National City Lines operated a vast shell company, secretly bankrolled by a cartel of industrial titans, General Motors, Standard Oil of California, Phillips Petroleum, and Firestone Tires, along with the Omnibus Corporation, now Hertz. The cartel weaponized a piece of federal legislation called the Public Utility Holding Company Act, applying immense legal pressure on power companies to sell off their aging electric streetcar networks. The syndicate's objective was total market capture. They would buy up vulnerable transit lines, scrap the electric trolleys entirely, and force cities to rely exclusively on GM-manufactured buses, running on Standard Oil fuel and Firestone tires. This coordinated effort replaced local investment with a takeover designed to serve national industrial interests. By 1941, the friendly facade of local ownership in Springfield completely evaporated. This Springfield Union clipping details the trust's liquidation, referencing an SEC filing that lays out the scheme. Buried inside is the admission the trust was engineered, quote, to diminish local opposition to the acquisition by City Coach Lines Incorporated. Once residents failed to buy the dummy stock, the syndicate dissolved the trust and rapidly accelerated the physical destruction of the streetcar network, ripping the heavy steel tracks directly out of the cobblestone. The promise of a gradual transition served merely as a stalling tactic. It bought the syndicate enough time to physically destroy the city's infrastructure so electric transit could never return. In 1947, the federal government successfully prosecuted General Motors, National City Lines, and their corporate partners, securing convictions for a massive nationwide antitrust conspiracy. For cities like Springfield, the legal victory offered zero practical relief. The trolley wires were already cut, the tracks were paved over, and the population was now entirely dependent on buses. This 1955 article details a desperate letter from Springfield's mayor to the transit bosses. When profits dipped, the company abruptly announced it would not continue the transportation business, threatening to liquidate its holdings entirely. Mayors and selectmen from Chicopee to Westfield scrambled in a panic, suddenly forced to secure basic emergency transit and school buses for their stranded citizens. Springfield had traded a reliable, locally integrated electric network for a foreign-owned monopoly that was eager to abandon the city the moment the balance sheet faltered. To keep the regional economy moving, a group of local New England investors ultimately had to pool their money and buy back the scraps of their own transit system. Historical accounts often explain the death of the streetcar as a natural shift in consumer preference for gasoline-powered buses. In Springfield, records show that transition was a deliberate hit job driven by monopolistic greed. The landscape, air quality, and infrastructure of the modern American city were permanently changed by illegal corporate sabotage, all executed behind the boring, bureaucratic paperwork of a local trust.